There are so many hacks, tips, and tricks from parrot owners all over the internet. So much that it's a little bit difficult sometimes to find what will work for you, what is a good hack, and what is not that great of a hack. So, because of this, in today's video, I decided to share a little bit of my own experience with a hack or a tip from parrot owners that I decided to adopt, try out, and regretted it afterwards. Before I tell you what the hack is, let me give you a little bit of a backstory. If it's your first time on this channel, you probably don't know my story, but I started with two budgies. After having my two budgies, I decided to do some research because I wanted to have a bigger type of parrot. I didn't know exactly what I wanted, but I didn't have the space for like a big macaw or something like that. But I had enough space for maybe a conure, an Indian ringneck in that area, right? Size-wise. So I decided to do a whole lot of research about these type of birds, which one would work for me, and decided to opt for a black Cape conure, which is similar to a green cheek conure if you've never seen Olive on the channel. While I was researching, I saw a lot of conures owners that were talking about the first poop of the day. So the morning poop that was much bigger than the rest of the day. And some of them trained their birds to poop on command, which I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. But some of them, it was just the first poop of the morning to have the bird poop outside of the cage for the first poop of the morning because that poop is so big. Oh my gosh, how many times can I say poop in a sentence? But honestly, I thought that's not a bad idea. I think that's a great idea to have that big first poop of the morning to make sure that it's not in the cage. I thought it was a great hack. It was a great idea to keep the cage cleaner longer, maybe. Now, fast forward to after all these research to having my baby conure home. And I really realized really quickly that yes, the first poop of the morning is much bigger than the rest throughout the day. Now, I would be curious to see you guys. What type of birds do you have? What type of parrot? And is it true for your bird that the first poop of the morning is bigger? Because in my flock, it's only my conure. My Indian ringnet, not really, but geez, those are poop machines. So they poop all the time. But I would be really curious, what parrot do you have? What type of bird do you have? And is the first poop in the morning bigger than the rest? Or is it just a conure thing? Let me know in the comments. So by now you probably figure out that the hack that I'm talking about is training your parrot to poop outside of the cage for the first poop of the day. I thought it was brilliant, and I did that. So it's actually the first trick that Olive, my black Cape conure, learned. I trained her that as soon as I was getting her out of the cage, I was bringing her here. This cage, I don't use it as a cage. It's just a stand in my kitchen. They have breakfast in there. They can fly. It's like a stand where they can fly around. I have a big hallway from my living room to my kitchen, so they can fly around through the hallway and come here and land safely on that perch right there or that stand. And they have breakfast in the morning with me. See, now there's a little bit of chop from this morning here. They have a water dish there. So I trained Olive. I was getting her out of her cage and I trained her to wait, come here and poop on here. So it would go fast. She would go here. She would poop. Good job. I would reward. And it became it was her first trick that she ever learned, and it was awesome until it wasn't. Now I'm going to get into the why I regretted it. Once she was fully trained, I realized that she was so well trained that she would not poop ever in the morning. Her first poop would never be in the cage. And that for me is a problem. I realized really quick that that was a problem because let's say I was sleeping in the morning, or I had something to do really early that I had to leave before wake up time and then come back, or I was away overnight and I had to be here a little bit later in the morning. I realized that really quickly that parrots, they get used to a routine. And once they are really well trained, I mean, I guess I did a great job at training her on that, but once they are really well trained, they're trained. It's a trick. They want that treat. So I guess it was a mix of being well trained and that routine, that it was always the same thing. First thing in the morning, she would get out and poop on here, that she would hold it until I was letting her out, which is so bad. It's a good thing that I realized this really quick because I did some research, and medically speaking, it can really create a lot of issues on the parrots. And I've heard also that it could potentially, someone that really trains their bird to only poop on command also can create a lot of issues. So that was really hard though, to detrained. Is that even a word? I don't know. It was really hard to undo this whole pattern, this whole training that I've done. Took a while to undo the damage, if you will, that I've done. So if you think that this is a great idea, I really think that isn't. I would say think twice before doing that. What if you go on a vacation, or what if something happens and you're stuck somewhere and you just can't get in the morning to your house? I think in one of my videos, or even maybe a Saturday live, I was talking about how we have a responsibility as bird owners to make sure that our birds are able to adapt themselves. And why I was talking about this is because most of our parrots, they live a very long time, and most of parrots will not be in a forever home from the beginning until the end. And because they get so used to their own routine that it stresses them out, and it can be really detrimental for them and their health if that routine is being broken suddenly. And especially it's been like this for years and years and years. So the good thing about breaking that routine or that training that I did with Olive is that because she was so young, and I realized really quick how bad of an idea that was, I've been able to break that cycle pretty quick. But I guess my point here is routine isn't that great for birds. You have to give them a little bit of inconsistency. Be consistent in your inconsistency. I know this makes no sense maybe, but this is going to allow your bird to be more adaptable to different situations and being less stressed out if something is out of the norm, because their norm is not going to be always the same thing. Hope this makes sense and that you appreciate that video. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and look for our weekly live every Saturday morning from 10 to 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. Take care. Bye.